It's just...
Welcome to the Turnbuckle Brothers podcast. Welcome to another edition of Turnbuckle Talk on the Turnbuckle Brothers podcast. I am your handsome host, Matt Hewitt, alongside, as always, the blue chipper, the day tripper, the Lime Ripper, the king of this guy's game he created, Steve Mutsu. Forgot his name for a minute there. Steve, my brother. Steve, welcome. And today we have our good friend and guest, somebody we wanted to talk to for a long time on here, who created a lot of the reason why we talk about stuff. Dayne Myers, the CEO and creator of ImagineSports.com, Diamond Mind Online, the greatest fantasy baseball game in the world. Dayne, welcome to the Turnbuckle Brothers podcast. How are you, my friend?
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm good. Yourself?
Doing good.
We're doing great. So there's a lot to unpack here, a lot to talk about. And first of all, Dayne, I just want to go ahead and pull this up here and show this to you. STL Cardinals for life, buddy. Dayne is a huge Pittsburgh Pirates fan. Of course, me and Steve, being from St. Louis, we're fans of the greatest baseball organization to ever exist, the St. Louis Cardinals. Steve, would you agree with that?
Second greatest. Lime Rippers are the greatest.
Oh, God. See, Dayne, look what
the last time the Cardinals won a...
It was a lot sooner than the Pirates.
Yeah, I walked into that one.
Yeah.
I'm a Giants fan too. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You are a Giants fan too. Forgot about that. But
my home where I grew up and where I lived most of my life, actually. In the Bay Area.
Okay. But your true allegiance, your heart, lies within those Pittsburgh Pirates, doesn't it, Dayne? I think that.
If it bothers Steve, yeah.
Anything that bothers Steve, I'm a fan of. So yes.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that. Because we're gonna, there's been some submissions on the board. We'll ask you some questions from the users of your site, fans of the show. But while we're on the topic, why don't we just start with that love of the game, baseball? How did that start for you, Dave? Because obviously it had to start somewhere because, quite frankly, you created an awesome platform for super fans and fans of all types like us to be able to further enjoy this game. How did it start for you?
The game or the love of baseball?
The love of baseball. Where does this come from Dayne Myers? I want to know.
It was started because from I can't remember, it was my 7th birthday or 6th birthday. I had been obsessed as a little kid with Batman. So every holiday, my birthday, Christmas, whatever, my grandmother once lamented that every holiday was a search for a Batman, a toy I did not already own. So she decided to break the mold and gave me a baseball bat and glove and ball. And so I had to try this, even though I, never cared about sports up to that point. I'm probably not, like I said, I had to be 7. And the rest is history. The Batman was gone and baseball totally replaced. I became obsessed with baseball and joined Little League. And the first full season I was into baseball happened to be the year of the World Championship when this guy was the MVP and became my childhood hero. So when you first get into baseball and you're first starting to listen and watch games on a regular basis, to have that be the season your team goes and wins it all, now you're totally hooked. It's over.
Yeah, no chance after that.
Yeah, so that was the beginning of the baseball fanship. And then it was interesting because then when I went off to college, a certain other sport kind of became more primacy because I could go down and sit with, over 100,000 fans and watch, in the greatest stadium ever constructed. and be part of, as they say at every third quarter, today's attendance. Thank you for being a part of the largest crowd to attend a college football game anywhere in the world today.
Oh, we have no idea what that could be at all. The color, what are they, purple or green or go orange or what is it again, Dane?
Go blue.
Go blue. Dane is a dyed-in-the-wool University of Michigan fan.
Yes.
Hey, Dane, I'm going to give you a bit of knowledge because we talked a little bit offline. And, of course, one of the dynamics of our show is I am a pro wrestling expert and Steve is a baseball expert. Do you know?
So he says.
Yeah. Right. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, maybe I should throw that in there again. But there are two huge pro wrestlers that pretty much their whole career they were promoted as being All-Americans from the University of Michigan, and it worked for them big time. Do you know who those wrestlers were?
One of them was Steve.
And we're talking pro wrestling like WWE, WWF, old school stuff. The Steiner brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Rick and Scott Steiner. Their names were really Rob Rex Steiner and Scott Rex Steiner, but they were standout collegiate wrestlers at the University of Michigan. So, and they were huge name. Like a lot of people say they were the greatest tag team of all time, and they were brothers, but they were legit, real wrestlers, All-Americans at the University of Michigan. And they were known as two of the guys in the back that if a real shoot fight or a real brawl broke out, those were the last two guys you ever wanted to start a fight with. There you go. Now you know the two greatest wrestlers ever come out of Michigan were the Steiner brothers. I've been dying to tell you that. Anyway, I don't know why, but now you know. Now you know some wrestling knowledge from me. The one little bit of knowledge I could give you. So I want to hear the Roberto Clemente story because it's a good one, Dane. Tell us your fond memory of Roberto Clemente that you shared with us.
Okay, yeah. So my the first baseball game I ever went to live was in Three Rivers Stadium, and I still remember because Bruce Keeson started, and we sat in right field, and I brought my glove. And my dad made fun of me for bringing my glove. And I said, because I'm going to catch a foul ball. Or I said, since we're sitting in right field, Roberto Clemente throws the warm-up balls into the stands at the end of the warm-ups before the inning starts. And I'm going to get one. And my dad smiled and chuckled and said, okay. And he obviously didn't think that was going to happen. And so every inning I sat ready to go, glove ready to go. And one inning, he tossed it right to our section. I sprinted to the ball and it was right in the aisle. And I got, it's almost like, getting ready. I was primed and ready for the catch. And some big guy jumps out of his seat, knocks me aside and catches the ball. And I'm just looking up at him. My dad said it broke his heart because here I looked so, upset, and the guy doesn't even notice. He didn't intentionally do it. He just kind of jumped up and knocked me like a linebacker sending a quarterback flying. So he's celebrating with his friends that he got the ball and didn't even notice that he had this little kid standing there, like looking up at him, like, why did you do that to me? And a few months later, I was watching cartoons in the morning on New Year's Day when they came on with a special. KDKA Pittsburgh came on with a special. We interrupt this program for a KDKA special report, and they said, and I started wailing, and my mother comes running into the living room because she was, what the heck happened? And I in my sobs, I explained to her that they said, Roberto Clemente's plane had crashed, and she goes, "Oh, that's all. I thought something had happened to you." And that made me wail all the more. That's all.
That's all
on earth.
Oh my!
So that was. So I only that a few months after probably 6 months after my very first baseball game, he was dead. So I reveal something in that the number 21 is somehow in almost every password I use to this day.
Well, justifiably so. And obviously, the legend of Roberto Clemente is just as strong today as it was then when you were a kid, in my opinion, with the awards and everything that they put out. And I have a similar story. Listen to this. So my dad used to get tickets from his boss who had season tickets to Cardinals games at the old Busch Stadium a couple times a year. We went to games a lot when I was a little kid. And we always sat in like the terrace box. I don't know if you remember the old Busch Stadium, just a big giant circle with basically only 2 levels. I mean, wasn't a whole. Yeah. And we always sat on the very front of the terrace box, kind of right on the first base line, right there, not too high up, not too far away, perfect foul ball range, pretty good seats, really. We sat there a lot, all the time. And of course, just like you, brought my glove to the game, was real excited. I'm going to catch me a foul ball today, and brought it every time and never saw one. Wouldn't you know it, the wizard, Ozzie Smith, is up to the plate. And I'm watching every pitch, every throw. Hits a foul ball. I'm looking. It's coming. It's coming in a beeline right to me. And it's basically us sitting in this section. There's nobody to knock me over. Nobody to get me out of the way. I think I might have been the only kid there, like mom and dad and a couple of friends or something. I'm just sitting there, and I was probably about the same age as you. I want to say maybe 7 or 8. Had a tiny little glove. I'm leaned over the rail. My arm is stretched out as far as it could go before I risk falling over. The ball's coming. I'm going to catch it. I am going to catch it. And the ball comes, and it comes, and it comes. And within a centimeter of my glove, just out of the reach of my hand, the ball misses. And I look down, and a guy below me catches the ball and celebrates with all of his friends. Within an inch of my glove, I missed it. It was right there. Why wasn't I just an inch taller? Why couldn't I have caught this ball? I was devastated. I looked at for a whole inning or two. I'm looking down at the guy. I look down at the guy. He's high-fiving his friends. Yeah, great big guy, right? And I'm sitting way above him, and I'm looking down at him. And I look down, and I notice that this guy's ass crack is hanging out about this much. His pants aren't even on, hardly at all. And he's leaning over forward like this the whole game. And I kept looking. I'm like, God, stupid guy with your butt crack hanging out. God, I hate you so bad. And of course, to this day, I still do this. Every time I go to a Cardinal game at Busch Stadium, I always buy the like $50 souvenir soda that's like 4 gallons. And it's the take-home cup. You can tell it's like $10, but it's like a 64, 72-ounce cup because I like to collect the cups, So I keep the big cups. Had this big giant soda full of ice.
Oh no!
I'm looking down there. I see a target. This big giant butt crack staring at me, and I said, "It's revenge time." I took an ice cube out of my drink. I leaned over. Perfect. Lined it up perfectly. Dropped that ice cube down 30 feet, right smack dab into that guy's butt crack. He jumped about 30 feet in the air. Whoa! Jumping all around. And he looks right up at me, and I'm like, and I go back. And I look back down again a little bit later, and there's an usher there, and he's pointing up. He's like, him up there, him up there, him up there. I'm like, oh, shit. I was going to sit back in my seat for a while. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, we're in trouble. I'm in trouble. A little bit later, the usher just walks down to the end of the aisle, looks both ways, looks at me, and he just walks away. I dropped an ice cube in a guy's butt crack because he caught a foul ball, and I didn't.
Hey, that's fair play.
And I haven't grown up a bit since that day. Weird, crazy story, but that did happen. That is a true story.
Moises Alou threw me a warm-up ball once. And before I got home, I had played catch with it, and it went down the sewer in the streets of St. Louis before I got home. I didn't make it home with it. It went down South St. Louis, boom, right down the sewer. That was the end of that ball.
Wow.
Couldn't get it.
And just a little bit more on the baseball memories because I got something going here. Like I was born a year that the Cardinals won the World Series, so obviously pretty happy about that. But I didn't see another winner again until I was well into adulthood. But was a mega fan the whole time. But I've seen the Cardinals make the playoffs like 150 times or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's about how many times they made it.
Are you counting the World Series they shouldn't have won because the ump gave the game to?
Yeah, I'm counting that one. I count that one.
Yeah, totally
definitely count that one.
But what are you talking about? That never happened.
That's the one that has an asterisk on it, doesn't it?
How about the World Series that we lost because the ump cost us?
Yeah, what about that?
85.
Don Zeckinger. That asshole. Still mad at him.
Have you seen that play, Dane? Have you seen that play?
Yes, I have.
Horrible. But I do kind of feel bad for that guy. They did a little 30 for 30 on him, and that guy has needed help for a long time now. So,
No.
You St. Louis fans out there, quit sending that guy death threats. Jeez Louise. Anyways, you have an awesome baseball playoff story, don't you, Dane?
I do. This one's for Steve. So since we talked about this before, you guys asked me to tell the story. I'd be happy to tell the story. But when I was, so a couple years later after that story, the Clemente story, the Pirates were, it was late September, early October, and the Pirates were in a nip and tuck race with what's that team? Cardinals. And
greatest team of all time.
Yeah, yes.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah. So there's Yankee fans. Anyway, but my mom would not let me. I wanted to stay up and listen to a game. It was a pivotal game, and if I remember the race correctly, I think it was 74 or 75, and the Pirates were. I remember if I recall correctly, the Cardinals won during the day, so the Pirates had to win. This was the final game of the season, and they had to win. And if they won the game, the Pirates won the game, they won the pennant. And if they won the division, and if they lost the game, they'd have to do a 1-game playoff in St. Louis against the Cardinals for the division title. So really, really wanted them. And, or something like that. They were going to clinch the division, whatever. Anyway, the Pirates are losing. It's in the night. So my mom wouldn't let me stay up to listen to the game. It was only on radio or it was on TV. I can't remember, but it was against the Cubs. And so boo. I snuck a transistor radio into and slid it under my pillow before bedtime. So my mom didn't know it was there, and then listened to the game on the radio after she turned the lights out. And the Pirates came back, and they were down to their final out, and they were run behind, if I recall. And Bob Robertson was up, and he struck out, but Steve Swisher allowed a pass ball, and he went to get it, and he got it in time and threw it. And I'm like, go. But knowing it's Bob Robertson, I'm like, what? Swisher could have walked back and picked up the ball, taking it himself to first base the way Robertson runs. Anyway, Swisher gets the ball. He's all nervous. He throws it, and he down the line, and he hits Robertson in the helmet. And the ball bounces down the line, and the tying run comes in to score. It was either Stennett or Sanguian, if I remember. Now, forgive me if I don't have all the facts right, because this was, 50 years ago?
Refresh his memory, Matt. Refresh his memory.
Oh, Dane, we have a special surprise for you.
Oh, you looked it up.
Let's go ahead and relive this moment.
Oh, no.
Right now.
Oh, this is I got to get my reading glasses for this. All right.
This is actually from October 2nd, 1974, and this is the very play to Dane's surprise that he was just talking about. Let's go ahead and relive it with him.
They're all very deep. Here we go. Swing. Drop third strike. Swisher can't find it. He finally does. And the ball gets away from Fanzone and hits the base runner. The tying run is in. Robertson goes to second. Oh, what a development. There's a tap down the third base line. Madlock can't make it. The ball over. The ball over. And the fans are engulfing the field. Out they go. The Pirates have won it.
That was a cool play.
Bill Madlock.
And you know what? Then after that, so I didn't. This is the first time I've actually seen it because I listened to this, and then I got up. I was so excited, I just could not believe it. And so I probably 12 years old then. I go but my mom's asleep. If she hears me up, I'm in trouble. So I went into the bathroom and went into the linen closet and grabbed a bath towel and screamed into the bath towel to celebrate because I was so excited. Well, thank you for that. That's so cool. That's the first time I've actually seen it after all those years of having it in my memory.
I've got a transistor radio story for you. One night after watching the game or something, I was supposed to go to bed, and I took a transistor radio into my bedroom to listen to Sports Open Line on KMOX. It's like a sports call-in show. And I'm laying in there listening, and all of a sudden I hear my dad on there. And he is trying to convince these guys to move Keith Hernandez to second base.
Oh, my God.
And they're making fun of him, and I want to get up and go in there and make fun of him, but I can't because I'm supposed to be at bed. Yeah.
So this is where you got from your dad, you got your baseball knowledge?
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. What do you do? Who would, in their right mind, would move Keith Hernandez?
I heard him say it, man. I was like,
to
laying
second
in bed.
base.
Like,
Well, when you think
10 years old or something, laying in bed. I heard my dad on there. He's in the other room. I just heard him on the red. What the hell?
Okay, that's good. That's a good one.
Dane, Diamond Mind Online. Awesome, man. Can't even begin to say how successful you've been at creating such a great fantasy site for baseball lovers alike. Everyone loves it. We do. I can't get enough of it. Steve's, obviously been a pain in your ass for a long time. And how did you get started doing this, man? Because let's just face facts here. Dane Myers is a genius. He's a smart guy. He's a successful man. There's probably nothing this guy can't do. So the fact that you created your own fantasy baseball site that 10,000 plus people or something like that use doesn't surprise me at all. But how did this come to be?
Well, you guys may know. Well, it actually goes all the way back to the computer game Pursue the Pennant, which became Diamond Mine. And Tom Tippett had created that. And a friend who was it was the husband of a law school classmate of mine. He was really into baseball. He actually wrote a book on the history of the Giants franchise and got it published. And he was really into the Giants. And he got me to try it. We played a game, and I like, well, that's cool, but I don't have time to come over and sit down with you and play this all the time. And he said, oh, they've got an online thing. We should try that. And so he gets together a group, and that was the old Bill James Classic Baseball. And I tried it, and there was a group of us, so we all knew each other, and they're all friends of his basically. And that first season, I won my first 5 games, and then my team went totally in the tank. And I was so frustrated, and I kept making moves. I did the death spiral, everything you shouldn't do. But I was just like, I got obsessed with not losing 100 games. And then it was like, okay, now I have to, the competitive juices are firing. I cannot accept coming in last place. Although I did get a no-hitter from Tom Seaver in that first season. And
Nice.
from Gus Weighing. Is that how you pronounce it? I was wondering how you pronounce it.
I actually defeated Tom Seaver in a game today. I was pretty happy about that.
So that's how I got started into playing it. And I just kept working hard to get better at it, mostly by going to the old AOL, had a message board for this game for Bill James Classic Baseball. But I also, at the same time, I loved it. I got so into it, and it's been a hobby ever since. And then I got really frustrated, though, with how long it was taking stats to fully put it on the internet. The internet was booming at this time and get it going. It's like, why don't you put it online? And at the time, I was working for, and I'd become friends with Dan Farmer, who I would later co-found a cybersecurity company with. And Dan was really into it as well, in the classic game. And that's how we became friends. We realized we were in a league together, realized we both lived in San Francisco. Hey, let's have a beer. And the rest is history. And Dan was also we were very frustrated. Why weren't they putting it on the internet? Why weren't they doing all sorts of things to invest in making the game better? So, but I could see how passionate everybody was about playing it. So I ended up I was working at a time in a private equity firm, and I talked to the partners I said, we should try to buy this company. It's so undermanaged. It's so this could be so much more. And they go, let's go for it. So we actually tried to buy Stats, which ran the game at the time and a whole bunch of other fantasy stuff. And thought we could unlock a lot of value there if we bought it. So I literally was in negotiations with John DeWan, who was the founder of Stats. And I was sitting at his desk and, in the Chicago area, and thought we were about to finalize a deal when he says he has another offer. And I was like, what? And turns out Fox Sports had come in and offered him. And I said, well, I probably can't compete with Fox Sports on an offer. And he told me what it was. And it was 4x what we were offering. Oh, I literally picked the phone up off his desk and handed it to him. Said, John, call them and take it. Don't negotiate, just take it. That is way more than this company's worth. So now Fox owned it, and they did put it on the internet, and it became Diamond Legends. And then they did a deal, as you probably know, with ESPN, and the game grew a lot. And I was happy to see this happen. I just wanted a better game and a better customer service, more investment in it. And then I was disappointed. I was like, almost as soon as they put it online and got the ESPN game, nothing more happened. They did nothing more to invest in it, nothing more to improve it. And I got more frustrated, and just thought it could be so much more. So I tried one more time to buy it from Fox, and somebody from Fox got back to me and just said, you know what, this thing is too small and nobody's paying attention to it, and nobody's gonna give you the time of day to try and buy it. And I was like, so then I went on vacation to Australia and stayed for a little bit with Charles Wolfson, who most of you know manages a lot of stuff, parts of Madden Sports. And Charles and I he offered to let me stay at his place, and he and I got to start talking about it. I could just see he had my God, we spent hours talking about everything how that game could be better, and talking about, I started so and so in this game, and I got a no hitter from Tom Seaver, and Dave Parker hit for the cycle for me last week. And I was like, man, the passion for this game is so intense. It's a shame that it's so this market is so underserved. So I came back from that vacation and determined to build my own to compete with them. And the first thing I did was call Tom Tippett to see, is your license with Stats exclusive? And he said, no, it's not. And I said, well, could I get a license? And he said, somebody comes to me, a few people come to me every year trying to convince me. And he said, and I don't think nobody's ever presented to me a vision that was worth it. And I said, give me that opportunity. And I laid out a vision for what we do with it. And kind of begged. I said, look, these customers would love to play more. They'd love to have more, but they can't because Stats won't do anything. But he said, and they finally said, you know what? I always thought it could be more too. So, okay, let's do a deal. And then we were off to the race. That was July of 2005. And I incorporated what is now called Madden Sports in August. I spent the entire month of August, almost, wasn't 24/7, but pretty close, writing the game specs, hiring developers, and we got started. I remember, because Dan Farmer got married over Labor Day weekend that year, and his wedding was in Italy. So I literally, on the connecting flight in Philadelphia, emailed the game specs to the guy doing most of the development and said, here you go. I'm on my way to Italy for a wedding. And we started coding by Thanksgiving. We had our first working version. By January, we opened the doors for a live free beta, and by March we were launched. So that's kind of the story of how it really was born out of one thing, which was really I wanted a better. I love that game, and I wanted a better version of it. Something that where there'd be because there were just so many things that it could be. I just felt it could be a lot more than they were doing with it. And then later, Tom. So we had the license to it, but Tom got offered a job in the front office with the Red Sox because they were already using him. He was already a consultant, and they were using the Diamond Mine software to simulate various things. And they wanted.
That's right. I remember you telling me. I thought you told me about this a long time ago, Steve, or something about this. But that's unbelievable.
Yep. And so they wanted to come on full time. I think he became like assistant GM for baseball information or some such thing. And he came to me and said, I won't be able to support the game anymore. Would you like to buy it? And so I got some investors to put some money in to buy it, and we bought the Diamond Mine software. So now we owned it, and that's kind of the rest is history. My original vision was for something bigger, to do multiple sports. That's why it's called Madden Sports, not just baseball. But life intervened, and just as I was starting to talk to venture capitalists about, hey, look at baseball. I built this baseball game. Look how much success we've got. Look how much passion there is, and like I showed the message boards, and right when I was starting to talk to venture capitalists about putting some money in to grow, to build other sports, and we had just finished basketball. And I said, look, we've already built, baseball's already got revenue. It's already growing. Basketball's already built. Now we want to build football and more sports. And actually I had envisioned even doing more simulation games beyond sports. But then, the financial crisis of 2008 happened, the Lehman moment. And, the world, we literally, a third of our customers went away overnight. I mean, within weeks, we lost a third of our customers. And revenue went way down. And one of the venture capitalists I know with Sequoia Capital, one of the most successful venture capital firms of all time, he said, my advice, hunker, this is going to be really, really bad, and we're not investing in any new companies. You should hunker down. And he said the companies that it's now survival time. And I took that to heart, and unfortunately we had to lay off staff, and the whole dream of building into something bigger was gone. I thought at the time it was just, now can we even keep the thing alive? And so then I was back to working, it seemed like nonstop, just to figure out how we could get things to work on a smaller staff, with less people, so that we could afford to keep it alive. And we were fortunately able to do that. And but I had to survive. We had to kill off basketball, and the football development was ended. So we just basically became just baseball.
Well, you set out on a mission to create a better game, and even though I haven't been playing it near as long as all of you guys who we've talked to and who chat with us on the boards and submitted questions for you and all kinds of stuff, I know that you succeeded. And I know that you've succeeded because we've interviewed guys who have told us stories. Like Tyler Enzer, our buddy Tyler, for instance, spoke of the amazing customer service, and anytime he's had a question or anything, he's been responded to immediately, and they helped him. That just speaks for itself right there. That was a big pain point for you.
Yeah, and I can also attest to that too, because I've been a bigger pain in his ass than pretty much anybody, and the customer service always helps me. So
let's set the record straight, Dane. How big of a pain in the ass is Steve Mutsu, the Lime Ripper?
I think Steve's quite a character, and I think people like him make the site. You know what? All these years, there were times, I have to admit, there were like right after the whole financial crisis, and we were barely surviving. And I remember saying to my wife, I wish I'd never done this. I just spent the last several years of my life putting so much into this to make it into something bigger and more successful. And now this financial crisis is going to crush us. And then she was like, trying to be very encouraging. And, but I did have to say, okay, it's never going to make enough money. I'm going to have to go. It's now more like a passion project, and I have to go get a job. Which I did. But I remember saying all that work it felt like for nothing. It was just barely to keep it alive. And then, somebody posted, it was a guy by the name, I don't know if you remember this guy, his name was Stan Lutz. And unfortunately, Stan's since passed away, but I'm pretty sure it was Stan. It may have been Stan or might have been somebody else. I might not be remembering because this was more than 10 years ago. But somebody mocked him, got on his case because he kept so many typos and said, "Geez, dude, you ever hear of a spell checker? Can't you, And he replied, he said, I had a stroke several years ago. I'm paralyzed on the right side of my body. I have difficulty typing. I apologize. This game is the only thing that keeps me going." And I read that and I told my wife about it, and I actually got choked up. And I was like, she said, "See, it was worth it. You didn't get wealthy off of this, but it was worth it." And it was worth it just for that one guy. It was worth it for him.
And there's a lot of us that are super grateful you did. A lot of us.
Well, she said to me, she said, don't you ever question why you did this ever again? And it's true. I haven't. We kept her going, and it's, it makes enough money to sustain itself, and that's what matters. So it's the community, I think, is awesome. I still enjoy playing it myself. And I look forward to kicking, you guys' butts in the next time we play. So
I don't know about that.
Well,
I don't know about
Dane,
that.
how about we go ahead and issue a public challenge right now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about we do this? How about we create a Turnbuckle league, and we invite you to join it and play with us?
Well, you're on, and my normal prize will apply. So,
and what is that again? Say it again for the listeners.
When I play in leagues, if you finish with a better record than me, you get a $10 credit to your account.
So in other words,
credit for beating Dane.
In other words, Steve plays free, right?
Oh boy!
I'll tell you what. You finish better than me, I'll double the prize.
Oh, geez. All right, let's do it. Let's go.
Yes,
this is candy from a baby.
I've got a couple more questions for you, Dane. I know we don't want to keep you too awful long, but just a few more. We'll wrap things up. Turnbuckle Brothers speaking with Dane Myers, the creator of our favorite game ever, Diamond Mine Online.
Before you go on, timeout. So this was a team effort. I mean, a lot of the credit. I mean, look, Tom Tippett created the underlying software, the Diamond Mine software.
Oh,
which is, I mean, let's face it, that's what makes this so great. It is.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
The best baseball simulation ever created. Full stop.
Sorry, Tom.
So Tom gets some of that credit, obviously. And Charles Wolfson and a guy named Barry Coron, they helped me in the early days get the thing, figuring a lot of stuff out. And then a guy by the name of Al Lieb, who was with us initially, he, as a contractor, he did a lot of the code. And then today, to this day, Charles is obviously still working with us. A guy by the name of Luke Kramer from the original Diamond Mine team is still with us. And Raghav Tandon, who's our primary developer, who kicks totally. I mean, I can't say enough about how well Raghav kicks ass.
I think you want to say he kicks ass.
He kicks ass. Yes.
Yes.
And so it was a team. It's always a team effort. Anybody who. There's one thing that bothers me about American business. It's how much CEOs get paid more, so much more, and get so much more of the credit. Where there's literally usually thousands of people behind them that do all the work, and it's always a team effort whenever there's success.
Well, let us.
Sorry for the interruption.
No. I'm glad you did that, because let me and Steve just say that we completely agree with that right now. We love all you guys for this. I mean, it's part of the reason why we're sitting here talking to Dane right now. So thank you guys for everything that you do. And it gives us something to talk about a lot. People seem to enjoy it. So keep up the good work, everybody. And we're here to help with that as well, which brings me to this, Dane. What do you think of us and what we're doing in regards to the game?
Well, I agreed to come on. First, Steve badgered me to make sure I watched an episode of your podcast, and I thought it was great. I was so like, wow, you guys are so genuine in your banter and your humor, and well, Steve's humor. But
Our humor is pretty bad. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, but hey,
but
whatever.
It was really cool, and I think I mean, I wouldn't limit it to just talking about Diamond Mine, but
Oh no,
I mean, but you've got a crowd, a community that's passionate about the game and passionate about baseball in general. So you can build on that, and if you keep your I think this genuine banter between you guys, and that fancy microphone you have is pretty cool. So if you guys,
yes, it is.
You can keep that going and stay true to yourselves and not try to make it something super produced and just be genuine. I think that it'll be a cool podcast, and I hope it grows. And we will be happy to offer your listeners a promo. For you know what? I'm gonna have to send it to you later. I forgot to generate it. We have a computer code. We can generate code, and I can give you the code, and then you can give it to your audience and tell them to get discounts at Imagine Sports.
Oh,
so I do believe that Dane just made an announcement on our show to where Turnbuckle listeners will be able to use the promo code. Let's say Turnbuckle.
Turnbuckle.
What do you think? Use the promo code in the near future. Use promo code Turnbuckle to save on credits. If you're a new person, how about we say free credit to start the game?
Credit for someone new, and for our existing customers, how about a 2-for-1?
Ooh, existing customers, all you guys that listen to us.
I think we should have a different code than Turnbuckle, slightly different, and we'll give it out at the end, so somebody has to listen all the way to the end to hear it. So you guys get your whole.
Did Dane just become our first kind of sort of pseudo unofficial sponsor of the Turnbuckle Brothers podcast?
He didn't want us to play that commercial of that other sponsor, so he was doing anything
Dane said,
not let
"Do
that
not
hit
play
there."
that. You guys have another sponsor. I'm gonna bribe you not to play that commercial." So we said, "Okay, all right, fine. Thanks, Dan."
It was bad.
Yeah, it's really bad.
We
made it up.
I don't know if you guys know David Santee. He's his username is. God, I can't remember what his username is. Anyway, he's an Olympic figure skater, and he's got a podcast called Santee on Skates. I went on his podcast too. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
He beat me up pretty bad. Boy, that was brutal.
He did. I mean, we're probably going to beat you up eventually, but not on this one. Not your first.
Not yet.
Not yet. God.
Not yet.
How he was going to beat me in this league, and he's trashed. Oh man, trashed.
Oh. I mean, we're gonna kick your ass. There's
I'm definitely gonna beat
question
you
about that.
It,
I'm gonna finish better than you, and I'm a noob.
I want to. If I don't beat you by 5 games, I don't want the credits.
The ante has been upped.
Is that a gauntlet I see down on the floor?
I am not gonna make such bet because I'm horrible, but I am doing good this season.
So far. I'll be setting the rules for this league, and there will be no crying because there is no crying in baseball. And this is not going to be your easy. I was telling you guys before we started about my big dogs leagues.
Yeah.
Big dogs. Can you run with the big dogs? These are hard rules. No crying, no whining.
A lot of shit talking.
Yeah.
Big dog rules apply. I say big dog rules apply.
We have a variant of big dogs, and we'll see if you guys can run with the big dogs.
And you know what? I actually realized something talking to Steve the other day is that the only leagues that I've played in on Diamond Mine, I've only played with big dogs since I first started. And I just kind of now realizing this, like good players. I've been the noob in every league I've been in against guys that are awesome.
You need some cupcakes like Steve to be in your league.
Yeah, Steve likes to have fun playing with noobs and win. I get into league
I
with all
never
these.
play with noobs. What are you talking about? Except
I'm
you.
Except for me.
One.
But feel free to check out our 1977 Progression League right now and check out Steve's record and check out mine.
It's bad.
Is it bad?
It's bad.
It's not bad for the Gateway Archers, but it's bad for the Rippers.
I'm unconcerned.
Yeah. And the Death Spiral. I was a victim of that early on, making deals and getting rid of guys. And Steve's like, "What are you?" Like he says to me all the time, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What? Like, this guy's terrible. He can't. He's like, no, dude. This dude's great. I'm like, he's gone. He's gone. He ain't producing. He ain't worth a shit. I'm trading him. As soon as I would do that or release a guy, somebody else would pick him right up, and I go, ooh.
That's always a bad sign.
Uh-oh. And he was like, not great. Not great, Matt. I made that mistake, but I don't do that anymore. Lots of things I don't do anymore. That's why I'm winning.
Yeah.
A lot. Bruce Sutter. Oh, yeah, baby. 3. Okay, I swept Steve yesterday. 3 games. And Bruce Sutter had 3 straight saves. I thought that was quite the accomplishment. I'm bringing it up again. I'm happy about it. Dane.
I'm happy about it, too. I want him to feel like he's doing well. You know?
I am going to have a pumpkin problem a lot sooner than I should. So that's, yeah, okay. That remains to be seen. Dane, what is next for Diamond Online? What is something new? What is in the works maybe that you guys might have coming up? Give us just a little sneak peek of what might be next coming up for the site.
Well, I'd say that the 2 biggest things are the mobile app we're building, which is going to be
nice.
I don't want to say too much about it yet because I made a mistake last year of telling everybody when the pandemic started and everybody was in lockdown and people were like desperate for something to do. And we rushed out if you remember, we rushed out a whole slew of new things. We literally had a conference call and I said, guys, let's all these things we've had in the backlog, let's rush them through, let's get them out. And one of them was the idea of doing solitaire leagues. And I overpromised, which I hate doing. And we said we'd have that out, but we are going to do an app. The first version of the app is going to allow live head-to-head play on the app, and then we'll expand it from there. And we will I think it'll be a lot. We actually did build solitaire leagues for the app, but when we tested it, it was just not enjoyable. And I said, we cannot do this. So that's when we got the idea of doing the live game. We're still going to do solitaire leagues after we get the app out. We will put solitaire leagues on the site. It just didn't work in a mobile, the screen sizes and all that, it was just bad. And so we're not going to bring a substandard product to market, but You're going to see, I think the number one thing is you're going to see a lot more uses of Diamond Mine in new formats, because it made us realize, wow, we could be doing a lot more with this. We also want to do some things that we think, one of the things we've had limitations was expanding on making the PC game version better, because the technology Tom used is pretty antiquated, and to invest in upgrading it was just after the financial crisis, we just couldn't do it. And so, and it just costs the way the internet has advanced, it's just so much less expensive now to build things online. So we now can do some things there too, or we can do some things in the PC game that we think the PC game customers will like as well. And then the final thing, so we are going to bring solitaire leagues to the website, but not to the mobile app. Head-to-head play is coming in the mobile app. And then you guys know about now that Negro League stats have been fully sanctioned by the major leagues, by MLB, we had been looking at this for a while and saying we should now there's more stats available. We should update all of our Negro League player codings in the game. And so we've already started embarking on a project to look at all the players that are already in and see if their coding should be changed, and then what new players can we add. But right now we're having trouble getting access to the full set of data. We need to do that, and Charles is working on that. So once we have the rest of that data, we'll be able to accelerate. Or still getting it done this year is going to be tough. So we might do it in pieces. Getting it all done this year will be tough, so we might do it in pieces. But so we're going to look at redoing, and then we'll put out PC game discs for those customers as well. With all sorts of Negro League players and teams on it. I don't know if there's going to be enough data to do single seasons or not. It will definitely do everything for the career-based game, but
that's cool.
We have to see the data we get first before.
So there's a possibility we could have Negro Leaguers in single season.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That is
Yes.
really cool.
I know.
We
As soon
don't-
as he
we don't
started
do
bringing
it.
that up, I was like,
Yeah,
yes.
if we don't do that, I'll be disappointed if we can't do that. I don't see why we can't do it. It just might take us longer.
Well, how about this, Dane? When that comes to fruition, how about we break the news first here on Turnbuckle Bros? What do you think about that?
Deal.
Yes. One last challenge. I just came up with this idea. Dane Myers versus Steve Mutsu. We show the game live on the podcast. I moderate and call the game one-on-one when the app comes out, if it's possible or whatever, or just maybe just a live game. Pick whatever team you guys want. Pick the best team you both can put on the field. Dane versus Steve. We show it live, and we see what happens. The challenge is thrown. Steve, do you accept?
I accept. If Dane wants to go one-on-one with the great one, that's cool with me.
Dane, do
Well,
you accept the challenge?
I certainly cannot, I can't refuse.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
In the future, we will record that show, a game live, and let's see who really is the best. Dane or Steve.
Wait. You can't based on one game. You can't.
No, you can't.
You can't. So maybe we'll have to make it a series.
We
should even draft our teams rather than just making them be just picking.
Okay. Well, we'll get creative on that. I thought it was a great idea until you shot it down again. But Dane, thank you so much. Promo codes. Looks like for new users, use the promo code Turnbuckle. We will officially announce when that's live. Dane is going to let us know about that, where you will get your first free credit to the game. And for existing users, what's going to be the code for existing users? Who's got it? What is it? Bros.
Ripper.
How about Ripper Bros?
Ripper Bros. For all you existing users, Ripper Bros, you will get 2 for 1 when you purchase credit when you use the promo code
starting tomorrow, because I thought
starting tomorrow. Starting September 10th. Turnbuckle for 1 free credit for new users, existing users, Ripper Bros. 2 for 1. Ripper Bros.
Ripper Bros.
I can't believe Dane acknowledged the Ripper. Unbelievable.
I think it should actually be something simpler. Just make it Ripper.
Yeah,
Ripper.
That is
Ripper.
Yes.
Ripper.
Yes, Ripper.
And we will
Rippers, because there is that S on the end.
Yeah, there is.
Rippers.
Turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Rippers.
Is this going to go to his head? I mean,
I was just going to say, do you realize that you just took the pump and gave it a good shh, shh, shh. Come on, man. I'm trying to work with this guy here. It's hard enough as it is. Jeez Louise. Dane.
Can I ask for one request? And most people hate this idea. And everybody always says, no, don't do it. Don't do it. But could I just get like Willie Mays Hayes and, like Pedro Serrano and Crash Davis to play? I want that so bad. I just want to have Crash Davis on my team. Maybe that whoever Gina Davis's character name, whatever her name is.
He may run like Hayes, but he hits like shit.
You just reminded me of one story that we talked about that I was going to share, and we forgot about it. So
do it. Share it.
Because it was relevant to the game. So back whenever the All-Star game was in Boston, and the year they honored Ted Williams and all that stuff, and all these great major leaguers came who played with Ted Williams came. And I was in Boston on business at the time, and I happened to I got a hotel room in the same hotel that MLB had as for all these people. So I'm in the lobby because one of my partners, business partners, he didn't make a reservation in advance. So I'm like, so I was the one who didn't want to have a meeting in Boston at the same time as the All-Star game, but I'm the only one who was smart enough to call ahead and get a hotel room in advance. So I'm waiting while he's begging for a hotel room at the lobby at the front desk. And I'm standing there waiting for him, and I look over and I see all the MLB guys, they'd given them these Hall of Famers all had blue jackets. And I look over and there's a guy in a blue jacket and a St. Louis Cardinals cap, and people are lining up to get his autograph. And I'm like, oh my God.
No. Stan.
The man.
Oh.
That man, yes. And so I'm like, I go over, and as the game has started, and so the crowd has started to dissipate to go watch the game. And he signs a ball for some cop. And then he turns to me, he says, "So you want an autograph too?" And I said, "Nope. Actually, I don't get into that stuff. I just want to say hello, meet you, and say thank you for all you've done for the game."
Oh,
He
man.
said, "Wow, that's so cool." He said, that cop, he's probably going to go sell it on. Have you heard of this thing called the eBay? Yes, I've heard of it. He said he's going to sell. Most of these people get these autographs. They just sell them. And I'm like, no, not interested. And he said, I think that's so nice. I think you should come meet a couple of my friends. So come with me.
Oh my God.
What?
So he takes me to this back, party room or whatever, banquet room. And he says, "Hank, Willie, come here."
Oh my God.
I kid you not. And over walk Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. Now, of course, I am trying not to pee my pants.
My God, I just shit myself hearing this story.
And they come over. "I want you to introduce my friend here. What's your name?" And I said, I take their hand, and he tells them the story about how I didn't want their autograph, and he thought that was so cool. And so Hank Aaron pats me on the shoulder and said, "That is very cool. That doesn't happen very often." But he said, "But some of us still work for a living. So, gentlemen, I have to go attend," because he was still working. I think he worked in the National League office for them. So he said, "I got to go. I have things I got to do. You guys enjoy yourselves." And then Willie Mays says, "Hey, there's a party up on the top floor. You want to join us? There's a bunch more guys you can meet." I'm like,
oh my God.
"Sure."
Oh my God.
So we get in the elevator, and I tell them about the game. Now, this is pre-Imagine Sports. This is the stats game. And I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Tell them about it." And I said, "Yeah, Willie, I have you on a team, and you just hit 50 home runs and 154 RBIs for my team that won a World Series last week." And he hits Musial on the shoulder and says, "See, I still got it." And I'm like, nobody is going to believe this when I tell this story. So they open the elevator, and we come out, and a security guard stops and says, "Sorry, players only." And I'm like, and they turn me, "Oh, sorry, dude, but it was nice meeting you." And I'm like, you don't have to apologize. I've had enough. This is enough for one night.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. That is amazing.
I race back to my hotel room so I can put this all on the message board and tell everybody, "Guess what just happened?" I was typing. I thought, who's going to believe this? Who's going to even believe that this happened? So anyway, that's my little story of my night with the stars.
It's unbelievable.
So it was pretty cool. That was very cool.
Oh my God, that's the greatest story I've ever heard in my life. I believe you, Dane.
It's way better than my Jack Clark story. I meet Jack Clark. I don't have any cards for him to sign, so he buys me a pack of cards, and he ends up signing Tom Lawless's card. That's my Jack Clark story.
Okay, I got one like that. So my senior year of high school was the year after the Pirates won the World Series, the family team. So this is 1980, and some buddies and I, right after we graduated from high school, we drove down to Pittsburgh, and we ended up standing outside the clubhouse because we thought, let's go meet some players. And we ended up talking to the security guard, this old guy who's, it's his retired, worked to be a security guard at Three River Stadium. He says, "You boys seem like nice kids. Let me tell you a secret. The players, most of the good players don't come out the clubhouse entrance because they want to avoid the crowds. They go out the center field maintenance gate. So go out there, tell Fred or whatever his name was that I sent you, and tell him to let you in, saying you can wait for the players." So we go out to the center field maintenance gate, tell him the guy what he said. This guy lets us in on the field. He said, "If you wait right here, this is where they'll all come out." And so while we're waiting, we're running around diving into second base, like stupid idiots. And sure enough, they start coming out one by one. Stargell, Parker, Madlock, Blyleven, Candelaria, you name it. The funny thing was, I started giving batting tips to Dale Berra, which my friends are like, "Oh my God, he's giving to a Major League Baseball player." And I remember the only person who was a jerk was Dave Parker, who basically
really?
And
Makes
he had
sense,
a ring
man.
on every. This is right after he signed that. He became the first player to make $1 million a year.
Yeah, that huge contract. Yeah.
Now that's nothing, right?
No.
And then, but Willie Stargell was really nice. He was injured, and he said, "Guys, I'd shake your hands, but I've got the sprained wrist, and I got to get to rehab, and I'm sorry." He apologized for not. We're like, dude, we bowed to you.
Okay. Oh, no problem, Willie. Love you, man.
I'm going to sign Willie
It was a
Stargell
great
tonight.
time. What's that?
I'm going to sign Willie Stargell tonight. It's like on my plan of things to do. It is.
Go get him.
If I sign him first,
I
much
guess
does it
that could
cost?
happen now.
Exactly. So
I don't
anyway,
need
that's my other cool story is how we ended up meeting most of that defending champion Pirates team. That was pretty cool too.
Man, I mean, just the last we get man, me and Steve, we are super fortunate to get all these awesome stories on this show, man.
Yeah, because last night we had a great story from a pro fighter, which I gave a pro fighter advice last night. So, you shouldn't feel so bad about what you did because I just did it last night.
Just unbelievable. Dane, thank you and your team for all that you do to provide the Diamond Mine Online, Magic Sports, everything you guys do for us. Thanks for being a supporter of the show. Ourselves and Dane are going to do some special things for you guys. We won't talk about it right now, but there's some cool stuff in the works. Dane announced the promo codes. We're going to push those on you guys big time and pretty much bring them up constantly from now on. So you're welcome. Thanks. You can thank Dane for that.
Good luck with the podcast. I hope it's
Thank you, Dane. Good luck with everything. We're going to bring you back. We're going to bring you back for the big challenges. We're going to see how these things go. We'll talk about the league and everything. Dane Myers, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
All right.
See ya, man.
That's it for us for the Turnbuckle Brothers podcast for Steve and Dane. We are going to say adios.